Hello, my name is Tobias Zethoven, and I will be discussing the SQL Database class. First of all, we are importing the MySQL library and PyQt libraries to communicate with MySQL and with the GUI. Our class is inheriting from the QThread class in order to make it easier to communicate with the GUI. For this communication, we are using signals. We are using status and error signal to update the GUI on the status and the errors that are happening. Right, here's the constructor. We are entering the objects that we want to put in the database, the credentials of the MySQL server, and the name of the database. The first thing that is being done is to create a cursor in order to enter queries, MySQL queries. Then the cursor is used to show all the databases that exist. If there is already a database with the same name, we are dropping that database and we create a new one, and we are using that database in order to insert the items. So the structure of our program is we process all the objects that were entered in the constructor. Then we add the foreign keys, and then we close the connection with the database. The processing of the objects works by looping through all the objects and then executing this function. This function extracts the important information from the objects and puts them in the add to database function, which is defined below here. This function checks if there is already a table with the object name. If there's no table, then we create a new table. Anyway, we are inserting the object into the library, into the desired table. The next, so this create table function works like this. We are practically creating a SQL query by looking to all the attributes of the object. Also, we are flagging some columns with foreign keys if they are containing an ID of another table. All right. Well, if the table is created, we can insert an item. Again, we are creating a large SQL query, and finally executing it. The add foreign keys, yeah, if all items are inserted, we are adding the foreign keys, and this is again an SQL query that is being created by adding the right strings. Okay, that is pretty much all the important code of the SQL thread class. Now I will show how it is. I will show it in action. So if we run the GUI, we parse the XML files, and then we are writing down a name for the database. Let's say power system. First, we check here in MySQL. You can see the power system database doesn't exist yet. So now we're gonna store the data in the SQL database. first we need, of course, to log in. All right, and we see a nice progress bar, and the database is created. Now let's see if it's really created. Yes, there it is. And as we can see, in, for example, the Power Transformer end table, if we check in this table, we see a primary key is created and 3 foreign keys to the Power Transformer table, to the base voltage table, and to the terminal. So everything worked. And that is how the SQL database class works.